Strap in. Things are getting weird. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the last week in the scale world of RC. This week has been crazy. Huge news, so many topics. Hit the like button and let's jump into this. Okay, jumping right into the biggest news of the week. Horizon Hobbies purchased Proline Racing. So much of what we talk about is either up to this point a Horizon product or a Proline product. Like every week, there's news out of one of those two camps, and now it's one camp. This is much different than when Horizon bought Great Plains after a bankruptcy. Proline has been a strong company up to this point. Horizon obviously wanted the brand and made the move. Now, up to this point, it's being said that nothing is going to change. Proline is going to maintain their facility in Banning, California, which is just south of LA. Behind the scenes, you have to imagine that things are going to change with job tasks and titles and who's doing what and taking care of what part of it, of course. But to the outside person, supposedly, we're not supposed to see anything change. At least that's what's being said. Who knows what we'll see as the months progress. There's been some really interesting takes, posted in the many posts on social media with all of the industry experts chiming in. Is Proline going to make new upgrade parts for things like the Traxxas X Max, which they're kind of one of the only ones making things like shocks and tires, bead locks, things like that? Is that going to continue, or is Horizon going to push them to focus more on things like the ARMAs, even the fifth scales or whichever items it is? Maybe the ones that they currently have, of course, continue making and selling. It's already been invested in to this point. But going forward, maybe focus on this. Who knows? And then, of course, there's been people saying, oh, are we going to start getting Proline tires in our kits and ready to runs? And if you've been in the hobby long enough, the very first SCX-10 from Axial that came out in like 2009, I think, actually had Proline flat iron tires. Some of you may remember that way back. That was back before Axial made any of their own 1.9 tires. Now, an interesting part of that is currently Proline tires are made in the US in their facility in Banning, California. While of course, all of Horizon's kits are made in China or Taiwan. So not sure if they're going to be making tires here and shipping them over, or if we do see Proline tires, are they just going to make their own molded version over there and include those in the kits and leverage the name? Proline also has parts made overseas as well. I think all of their shocks and some of their other hard parts like that, their kits, those are made in Taiwan. So not all of Proline's items are made in the US either. So who knows what percentage of things are going to stay. Up to this point, all of their bodies are still made here as well. Now, presumably when Horizon bought Proline, they would have bought all of their equipment and things like that. So this could be the first actual manufacturing facility that Horizon owns. Prior to this Proline acquisition, all of their manufacturing would have been done by outside factories. So unless I'm missing a brand somewhere, this is a whole new realm to them. Now, because this topic is so interesting, Matt from the Scale Builders Guild and myself, we do a live show every Wednesday. And this Wednesday, we're gonna have Paul from Proline on. We'll talk a little bit about this, but in general, we'll talk about all things Proline. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on my channel, as well as Matt at Scale Builders Guild channel. We both broadcast at the same time. So if you can catch it live, great. Otherwise, of course, you can watch the replay. Stepping past the acquisition news, let's get into some actual Proline product news. Blake Wilkie had made a post on social media this weekend saying that the new Megalodon body from Proline Racing was going to be out soon. If you don't know what the Megalodon is, it's Blake Wilkie's VW Bug styled two-wheel drive off-road buggy. Super awesome. I assume that it's going to be a body made for something like a two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive slash. It's going to be exciting to see exactly what the body looks like and what it's made to fit. No specific date was given yet, but maybe we can poke Paul for that on Wednesday. Next item from Proline Racing is some optional hood scoops and blowers. It shows this is a product that got listed on their site, no pictures or actual information yet, but you can imagine these are going to be an assortment of scoops and blowers or turbo outlets, who knows exactly what, that you're going to be able to paint and detail up and then stick to your body in some way. Even though these are being specifically aimed at no prep drag racing, I can already see these being added to every 120 millimeter shock having 2.2 lift kit, twin vertical flat plate. I'm sure it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, final details haven't come out yet, but as soon as they do, we'll follow back up on this story. And then next, another no prep drag body that we did get a teaser of, the 1978 Chevy Malibu. I'm a fan of this body style. I think this is gonna be a cool addition, yet another nice option in the no prep scene. That no prep scene definitely getting so much love in the body department. It's cool to see the diversity coming to these no prep events with so many people having different bodies. It's not just 15 different colors of Nova. Again, we have to wait a little bit longer before we get exact details and photos on this body, but you know it's not far away. Then next, we had a big release last Thursday with the Losi Laser Nut Ultra 4 car. This has been something that we had seen leaked a little bit a few weeks ago, and we got a full release of it last Thursday. I was able to get a hold of one a week early, so I did a running video and review of it. You can check that out for all of the details on this truck, but long story not so long, it's a 15-inch wheelbase, about 13 inches wide. It's a fairly good sized vehicle, a little bit larger than a bomber overall. This truck's a good choice if you want something that can handle speed well and just kind of get through the rocks, where the bomber is more of a get through the rocks and kind of do speed well. So it depends on what area you're looking for there. Overall, the scale details on this truck, nice to see the extra effort put into it. I think that it looks like the full-size Laser Nut Ultra 4 car. The proportions and everything look great. Big fan of this car, had a lot of fun driving it. It's based on the Tenacity platform, so it's got a nice aluminum chassis, everything in it feels, the shocks feel great. Overall, it's a car that I'm enjoying putting some battery packs through. These are said to be shipping by the end of the month, so if you get your pre-order now, hopefully you can get in on the first batch. Next, we have a new release from J Concepts, and this is the 1984 Ford F250 body, made for short wheelbase monster trucks in that 10.75 inch range. That's typically something like clodbusters and things like that. So this isn't a body that's going to be easily repurposed for 12.3 inch wheelbase scale trucks, but if you're a big fan of 1984 Ford F250s, I guess it gives you some sort of option. How do you choose a 1984 Ford F250? That body style was made from like 80 to 86. You choose 84. Why an 80s Ford? Like any Ford from the 60s or 70s would have been better, but an 84. There's like 3 cool models from the 80s. The G bodies, Fox bodies, and the Testarossa. Any other car from the 80s, just you get a mulligan. Only other good thing that came out of the 80s was my generation. Crawler Innovations has a couple of new products this week. The first one is they've got a no prep drag racing specific foam available now. These things only weigh about 6 grams overall, so like a fifth the weight of normal stock molded foams that go in drag racing tires. So it reduces the rotating mass that you have, and these don't grow with speed. As you know, tires balloon at speed, and a big part of that can be the foams. So if you want to reduce the amount of expansion that you're getting out of your tires, these foams may be an option. The other new product that Crawler Innovations has is HPI Baja 1/5 scale foams. So if you're one of those guys, check those out as well. And one last thing on drag racing, Amain just stocked all of Drag Race Concepts line. So if you're interested in something like their carbon fiber chassis for the Slash or their wheelie bar sets, anything like that, they've got those in stock now. You can go check those out as well, and I've linked to that as well as the rest of today's stories in the description below. Next, Knight Customs released a number of new bumper options for the Proline metric body as well as the Element Trail Runner. These are DeMello branded and in a number of different styles. So you can pick those up, as well as the VS410 inner fender wells made specifically for the Axial JL body set. So if you wanted to use the VS410 chassis and that Jeep JL body from Axial, you can put this all together. Again, those work with the body mounting options that Knight Customs released a few weeks back now as well. So you can put together a whole package deal if you're looking to marry those two products together. If you're interested in either the DeMello off-road bumpers or the VS410 parts, then you can visit knightcustoms.com and pick those up either off his Shapeways store or his My Mini Factory if you want to print them yourself. Holmes Hobbies this week released a number of new KV options in the Revolver V2. These Revolver V2s are the Outrunner style motors. The V2, along with adding more KVs, these are also lighter than before and have a different magnet set for a smoother startup. These are available in the standard length as well as the snub nose, so there's a ton of different options for the Revolver motors now. But if you don't want to go brushless, Holmes also released a couple of new brushed motor options as well. These are the 8-turn and 10-turn Crawlmaster Sports. Crawlmaster Sport is his inexpensive sealed can motor option. These 8 and 10-turn Crawlmaster motors are a 5-slot motor. They're going to be more comparable to something like a 18-turn 3-slot motor that you may be used to. So still fast, but Holmes says they still have some crawlability as well. So if you've got a project that this may fit, you can add that to your cart. Links to all of those motors in the description below. And next, some brass, specifically brass from Incision for the Incision shock sets. These are the lower spring cut for both the 80 and 90 millimeter Incision shocks. These are the shocks that come on all of the VS410 kits, including the Limited, the Pro, and the Ultra, as well as available separately. These will replace the lower stock spring cut. You'll just swap the rod end out to one of the other ones that was included with the shocks, throw these on, and you'll add a little bit of weight down low. And also new from Vanquish this week is a new set of rear axle caps in brass as well. These will go on to the rear axles of the VP D44 axles, the Rock Jocks F9s that came on the Pro, or as well as the SCX-102 F9. That's for the non-portal version specifically though. So these will replace that, again, add a little over 50 grams of weight. And the last news story of the week, RC Four-Wheel Drive released a new Toyota Extra Cab body set. This has got opening doors, hood, very similar to the 4Runner body set that they released previously. I'm not a Toyota purist, but this thing looks pretty good to me. And from what I hear, it's a pretty close representation of the proper styling characteristics of this particular model year range. So if something about this Toyota is just right up your alley, links to it are available in the description below. That was a lot of news for this week, but let's still throw in a question because that's still one of the favorite parts of this video for me. And the question I'd come up with for this week is, what is the single most unique or odd RC item that you own, have owned, or hope to own soon? Was it just a rare RC or a special handmade scale item? Was it your own miniature dumpster, a scale washing machine, a crazy painted body? What was it? Throw it in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week. Don't forget to go enter the 50,000 subscriber giveaway. Make sure to subscribe as well, of course, for the 50,000 subscriber truck right there that I'm currently building. Enter often, enter daily. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you have an awesome rest of the week. Thanks again. Hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.